Hello, this is David Weissner of STARDUSTER1 Multimedia. Today is January 11th, 2026, and I'd like to touch upon my runway shows. I took some remastered videos. I took my old videos and I remastered them. And I have a list over here of what I did. So if people are not sure, I could explain it to you. Okay, like on December 29th, 2025, I did Ya Ya. And I had a snippet of Excited, one of my songs in it. Then I did Esteban Cortazar interview with Michelle Clough. And The Quest for Vogue, one of my other songs, was on that. And then for yesterday, I did My Journey with Little Springs That Saved My Heart. As you can see, I got rid of the beard. So I hope I look a little better. Anyway, thank you for watching my runway fashion shows, remastered. I know I got a lot of good hits. Some of them, I think Jill Stewart did the best. She had about 200 and some odd hits. So if you like my videos, please give them a thumbs up, and comments are welcome. And I'm hoping to go back to Fashion Week next season. I hope that my media anchor is ready for it. She has problems and issues with other things that are in the way, getting in her way from focusing on Fashion Week, but I think that she may be able to do it because she knows that she's such a fantastic media anchor, and she could really come up with some really good questions for the designers. And she does this off the cuff with Michelle Clough. Hello, this is David Weissner from STARDUSTER1 Multimedia. I used to shoot runway fashion shows in New York. I haven't done a show in 7 years, and I'm thinking about making a comeback because my health has improved. So anyway, let me touch base about what I did in the last week. It started with Ya Ya on December 29th, and each day consecutively I posted a different video from my old archives of runway fashion shows that go back as far as 2004 and 2006, 2008. So they're kind of like, I consider them archives. So what I did to these archives is I added one of my songs, because I used to give the models my CDs. I used to write songs and give them my CDs because I wanted to give them out. I was like a promotion in a way. And I thought they should have them. So I started writing songs related to Fashion Week, related to models. So I did Ya Ya, a snippet of Excited, which was recorded probably and copywritten way back around 2005 or 2006. And then I did Custo Barcelona with my media anchor, Michelle Clough. And she is a really fantastic media anchor. What she does is she just gets together with the designer right on the spot, and she decides and picks out the questions. And when the designer responds, she just comes up with questions out of her own mind. Nothing written down. It's just right off the cuff with Michelle Clough. But for people who are really into the industry, these videos, I think they're timeless. Just like my old John Lennon videos where I used to go to strawberry fields and I would set up the camera, sitting there on a tripod, and I would just let an hour at a time just record. And at the end of the hour, I would take the tape out, pop another tape in, and just continue right through. So for the September Fashion Weeks and the February Fashion Weeks, I did those for about 15 years. I think I started around 2003, and I continued out till about 2018. I'm not exactly sure, but I think that's roughly about the time. So with the John Lennons, I used to record those October 9th, like maybe 2004, 2006, 2008. And I used to do it on October the 9th because that was John Lennon's birthday. And I was a very big fan of the Beatles and John Lennon, and I still am. And it was such a great pleasure to run into Sean Lennon and his girlfriend over at Fashion Week way back. Oh, that was probably around 2015, maybe 2016. And like I said, during the song, I would put clippets of backstage. I'd have clippets of me videoing the models, or maybe giving out CDs to the models. And I wasn't with a real big media company, and we really basically worked and trained. That was like my training. And I hope I proved that my training worked. I was never formally trained to be a videographer by any company. But when I got to Fashion Week and I did that work, I used to work with Totally Cool. I worked with Richard Renda, but at one point he had yanked my credentials because I was giving out my CDs to the models. So for some reason, in his mind, that was a no-no. So eventually I started my own company, STARDUSTER1 Multimedia, and I continued to give out my CDs. But now I decided, well, instead of giving out the CDs, everybody could see them. They're going to be online. They're going to be part of the videos of the runway shows. I've only been recording videos online for about 6 years. The story goes like this. When I turned 64, I said to myself, wow, I'm getting old. And I thought about When I'm 64, the Beatles song. So I decided to start my YouTube channel around 2019. And I said, oh, if I don't get these up, I don't know how much longer I'm going to be around and be able to edit and do all that stuff. Hello, this is David Weissner of STARDUSTER1 Multimedia. Today is January 11th, 2026. And I haven't been to Fashion Week in about 7 years. So I was considering going back because I got a call from my media anchor, Michelle Clough, and I learned that Richard Renda passed away September of 2025. I'd like to touch on Richard Renda a little bit about our relationship, because at one point I was working as a videographer with Totally Cool, and Richard Renda was like my boss, I guess you could say. So I started my own company, STARDUSTER1 Multimedia, and I continued shooting Runway Fashion Week and giving out my CDs to the models. So I was giving out my CDs to the models, and Richard Renda had yanked my credentials because I was working with Totally Cool under him. That was years ago, and then probably around 2006 or 7, maybe 8. So I was still continuing to shoot runway fashion shows. I did the shows from around 2003 or 4 to about 2018 or 19, about 15 years. Every February and every September, register, go to Fashion Week, shoot the runway shows. And then I ran into a woman, Michelle Clough, and she wanted to be my media anchor and interview the designers. So I agreed and had her do that. And she called me probably around December of 2025 and asked if I wanted to do it again. Well, when she called me, it so happened that I underwent heart procedures with stents, and somehow a miracle kind of occurred. Yeah, Richard Renda used to be the press pit guy in control of the pit at Fashion Week, and I worked for him in Totally Cool for a while, and we had a falling out. But the last time that we met, I was then STARDUSTER1 Multimedia, and he was still Totally Cool, and we shot some shows called Art Hearts Fashion Week over at the Orange Zant Center. As I remember, about 7 years ago, the last time I shot videos, I was side by side next to Richard Renda. I found out that he passed away, but before I found out that he passed away, I put a comment on YouTube because he commented about me, and I said, well, if I'm back, I would be sending him out maybe, because I would be full with work, shooting runway shows, and my media anchor would be interviewing designers. And at one point, I was actually recording Richard Renda. He didn't even know it at the time, but he found out, and he wanted to sue me for recording him showing the models how to walk the runway. I mean, that's got to be the funniest thing I ever heard. I'm showing off his talent, and he rejected me showing off his talent. I mean, I probably could have done the same thing as he did, but since he was doing it, I thought, well, okay, well, I'll fill up some content with him shooting Richard Renda teaching models how to walk the runway. Anyway, it's probably one of the only videos of him doing that. I don't think anybody else recorded him doing that. And I'm not going to take it down. I put that one up of him teaching the runway models how to walk. I'm the one that did put that up. So if it wasn't for me, he wouldn't even be up there showing models how to walk a runway. I used to shoot runway fashion shows at New York Fashion Week. I haven't shot a runway show in 7 years. I kind of miss it. I used to work with Richard Renda, and we had a parting years ago, and we left on good terms. And he sent me some kind of a post, and I responded by saying that if I go to Fashion Week and I'm with my media anchor Michelle Clough, and she's interviewing all the designers, and I'm doing the runway fashion shows, and I have a big schedule and a lot of work, that I may actually have to send him out to cover some of my shows, even though he yanked my credentials because I gave my CDs out to the models. I guess somehow we fixed things up, and at Art Hearts, that was one of the shows that we did together. He was showing the runway models how to walk the runway, and some of them were young, and I was like, wow, good. I mean, Richard's showing them how to walk the runway. That's good, because they wouldn't know. And so I decided to put him up and educate other people that wanted to do a runway show, because I thought that was good that Richard was doing that. So he made a comment to me that he was going to sue me for videoing him showing how the model should walk. So I wrote back, LOL, laughing out loud, because why would you sue me for showing your talent? Any court of law would probably laugh at him for doing that, because I'm actually showing his talent. So maybe he had a grudge on me, and he didn't want to show it, but it came out anyway. But anyway, whatever that was, I'm not really gonna touch on that. May he rest in peace. Even though we had, a couple of differences, we left on good terms. The last time I went to Fashion Week, actually 7 years ago, I was shooting right next to him, pretty much the shows over at Art Hearts. It's the Orange Zant Center, I think, the ORENZANZ Center. That's where we shot those Art Hearts shows. And I kind of miss him. I missed all the runway fashion show week. I know if I go back, all the models are going to be different. I don't think they're all going to be the same models that I used to shoot from 20 years ago, but hey, If you walk in my video camera on a runway, I'm going to get you, and I'm going to get your best angles, and I'm going to get everything that needs to be shown to show off the clothes on the runway model. My goal is to just do the best I could, and I am ready. So if I register, I'm hoping to run out there and get to work. So this is David Weissner, STARDUSTER1 Multimedia. Well, right now I'm in Florida where I live. This is my beautiful house. And I got to get to work and edit this now. I am going to put this on YouTube